Good afternoon, and thank you for coming today. For those of you that don't already know, my name is Megan Hamner, and I am the Director of Human Resources here at Rite. Our goal and what we're going to be speaking about today is to look at some of the present problems and solutions in response to the current employee relations gap here at Rite. So first, what is employer relations? It is defined as maintaining employer-employee relationships that will contribute to satisfactory productivity, morale, and motivation. So why is it important for us at Rite, as managers, to establish a healthy employee relations environment? A study by Kansas State University showed that having employees that are stressed can cause an organization roughly $75 per week in lost productivity. So, some ways that these employee relations issues are showing up on a local level, some symptoms that we're seeing. One is high turnover rates. We are seeing right now that our employees either feel unheard or unappreciated, maybe just that they're not getting their voices and opinions across to us as executives. EcoDistress stated in his article about what drives career professionals that the lack of career opportunities and challenges, dissatisfaction with the job scope, or conflict with management have all been cited as reasons and predictors of high turnover rates. So we also are looking at the financial impact to the company's bottom line right now. As we see this continual turnover, we also have to think about the financial implications of that. The Employment Policy Foundation states that it costs a company an average of $15,000 per employee for separation costs. What are those? Those are going to be things like paperwork, unemployment costs, vacancy costs, and replacement costs. So when we have a colleague depart, these are all costs and fees that were occurring to the bottom line. Not to mention the fact that we do have those existing employees that are feeling overwhelmed through these additional responsibilities that are being put on their plate, and they might also be the next to leave if we don't address this quickly. A poor media image right now is circulating about Rite. Now, we all love the company, and we all want the most positive image portrayed in the public. However, Barbara Farfan states in her article titled, "Rite Pharmacies Lose More Than Money in Lawsuits." She states that defending yourself against a consumer lawsuit is bad, but it's not as bad as losing your reputation, the integrity of your brand, and your customers' trust. That's huge. And we also need to start looking at our employees as customers because they are a true asset to the company. So when companies are presented with these types of signs and symptoms like we are right now at Rite, there are certain things that we can do, certain steps that we can take to make sure that we can stop. Well, let's review some possible solutions to the problems listed above. One, we need to start doing a better job of listening to our employees' feedback. They have desires and complaints that they're sharing, and that's not making it to the executive level so we can do something about it. In an article distributed by Graphic Arts Monthly, it was stated that effective reviews can simultaneously increase employee morale and productivity. So one of the things that I will suggest that we do is implement either monthly or bi-monthly employee reviews so that we can have the opportunity for an open door policy to be reflected where our managers, employees can sit together and figure out a game plan, make sure that everyone's on the same page and questions and concerns are being addressed. Secondly, I'd like to centralize a training through streamlined online company resources. So in the event that we do have a departure from a local store, someone leaves, we can definitely reduce the costs that we are currently incurring by setting up an online training method. So as opposed to having our in-store personnel taking on that extra task of when a new person starts, the training, acclimating them to the environment, we can start doing a lot of this online. Lastly, it's going to be good for us to get in front of our employees publicly and address concerns that they might be seeing in the media. Shelley Aylesworth states in her article, PR counselors provide crisis training that many organizations will utilize planning and crisis communication to manage risks for trust among customers and employees. So let's look at what kind of game plan we need to put in place. Now that we've discussed some problems, talked about some potential solutions, what do we need to do from here to get this in motion? One plan of action to address the employee turnover is to institute, like we talked about, the regular employee reviews. Also, I think it's beneficial to do employee surveys. Monthly, bi-monthly, have some anonymous surveys that our entire corporation does, so that we can pull that information together and kind of compile it and have a sense of the attitude that's currently in the company. To decrease the bottom line costs that we are continually incurring through turnover, we can work with the IT and the marketing departments to, like I said, get together a training course, an automated and streamlined training program. And this doesn't have to just pertain to the new hires. This can also be something that we administer to the current employees so that they can step more into a team lead type of a role and really become a subject matter expert, in which case that does also promote company loyalty. Lastly, to reduce the negative media attention that might be going on right now, we need to do a better job of addressing these concerns publicly. You know, when we have these conference calls, the company-wide conference calls, or just retail or local regional meetings, that's an opportunity for management to take a step back, take a moment and answer, do a little QA session, answer any questions that our employees might have, and bring those to the table, answer some questions. So, in closing, let's talk about what the incentive is for us as Rite Aid to really handle and address this public relations issue. Let's go back to our example about the lost revenue that's caused by unhappy and distressed employees. So when Rite Aid makes the changes that I've outlined, we can save up to $390,000 annually for every 10 employees. Now that's an average, looking at turnover costs, the paperwork costs, training costs, all of that combined. When you institute what I've suggested, that's the savings. So as a public company, we answer to the shareholders, and it is our fiscal responsibility to remain profitable. And so using that rationale, we as managers have the responsibility to improve and consistently monitor the employee relations as it pertains to our bottom line. So thank you so much for coming, and let's all have a great year.